Hey guys, it's the Sierra Thompson back with another video, and in this video I'm going to be telling y'all how I landed an engineering internship with no experience at all. No, I didn't have an impressive resume full of past previous internships. I had nothing. Pull out y'all pen and paper and take notes. I'm gonna make this video as fast as I can to give y'all a full rundown, and y'all won't be missing nothing, and y'all can go out and get your own engineering internship right after this video. Since I didn't have any previous internships, the first thing I did was focus on my strengths. I am currently an electrical and computer engineering student, so it was easy for me to express that in my resume along with my GPA, although I did not have any previous experience at all. Some strengths I focused on was my coursework, like languages, coding languages. I know Java, Python, C++. I knew all of these languages because I took the classes in them. So I expressed that on my resume like, hey, I don't have any experience. And no, I've never applied these coding languages to an actual job, but I've took these courses and I understand. So when I see it, I know that's Python, that's Java, that's C++, etc. Another thing is I focus on my soft skills as well. And that for me is like communication. I'm very good at communicating. If anything is wrong, I communicate. If anything is right, I communicate. So it's easier for me to communicate. And also another thing is leadership. And also completing things in a timely manner and being consistent in what I am doing. And lastly, a part of my strengths, during those classes that I've been taking in my engineering curriculum, we did projects. So I was able to express that as well, like, oh, I've coded this project, or I worked on this topic, or I worked with this many of my peers in this class building something, anything that could strengthen my resume because I don't have experience and I'm literally competing with a bunch of other students that have maybe had an internship since their freshman year in college. Step number 2, what I did is if you're in school, or even if you're not in school, if there are organizations and clubs around you tailored into engineering, the specific engineering that you want to do, join them, see them, seek them out. Go to where they're going. The number one thing I did, I stay in Houston, Texas. I would research on Google, and you can do this in any city that you're staying in, networking events for engineering or technology near me. And you will see a whole bunch, a full list on Google of upcoming networking events, social gatherings near you for what you're trying to see. When I went there, my first time going, there were a lot of people I met. I literally met a lady that worked for Microsoft and told me she could give me a job, literally. And we're so young, when you go to these places, you'll meet a lot of older people looking to find you. They are literally there to find the new generation to hire them. Another thing I did was join organizations at my school. For an example, I joined the National Society of Black Engineers. And although it could be Black engineers, any race could join this group. That's just the name of it. But you are welcome to join this group. You can go attend their conventions that they have. You can attend their meetings that they have. They are always offering classes to help students just like them, because they are too students, and get them in the field. And they will also bring sponsors to their meetings, people that work for Chevron or just any of the fields that you want to get in. They have connections to those people. And even sometimes they will bring back alumni to talk to us, and the alumni that we were just once in school with will tell us like, yeah, we're hiring at my job for such and such, and they know you personally. They're gonna put you on. They can help you. Number 3 is I applied for so many internships. I was very diverse. And because an internship is what it is, it's a learning experience, I applied for anything that could be in my field. Although I want to focus on being a cybersecurity analyst, I'm like, well, I'm an engineering major, so anything in this engineering field, like where it comes to computers, where it comes to electrical engineers, I applied for it because I am qualified to do it. And hey, who knows? Maybe I might like this more than I like cybersecurity. And I wouldn't know that unless I'm actively applying to all of these jobs and not putting myself in one box. So I kid you not, I probably during the time span applied for over 100 internships. I'm not playing. I was so serious and I was so adamant and focused on getting at least one internship. And getting an internship nowadays is very, very competitive. So 100 might seem like a lot, but during the time, like some of them just upload your resume and that is literally your application. So don't think like, oh my goodness, that's such a big number. It's really, really small depending on the requirements of that said company, what they want for you. Number 4 is I prepared myself for interviews. And the way that I prepared myself for interviews was actually showing up to the interviews of the jobs that were seeking me after I applied for them. And it could be very nerve-wracking at first, but like I said, I applied for so many internships that by the time I got to my 10th interview, I was comfortable. I already knew what they were asking me because they all kind of ask similar questions, and I will get into that in step number 5. But I already knew what they were asking, and eventually that fear and that nervousness of talking to them and people questioning me, it literally just escaped by the time I'm on the 10th interview. And another thing too, you can practice with your family and your friends, because I actually feel like it's harder to actually talk to them about yourself than it is to talk to a complete stranger. So if you are able to talk to a family and a friend and have them question you about your field and career choice, by the time you talk to an actual employer, you'll 100% be ready. I also want to add in, whenever you do get a job interview with said company or whatever company, do a little research into that company, because they're going to ask you at least one question about that company. Now, I've did a lot of interviews where the employer has asked me nothing about the company, but I've had a couple where an employer did ask me about the company, like, what do you like most about this company, or what is something that stood out to you, or what is something that you would like to improve about this company. And that's just something that you need to know about the company, because if you don't and you just say something crazy, it's like, huh, I'm like, what? Like, so just a little knowledge about the company. And that leads me into number 5, mistakes to avoid. Although I said apply for as many internships in your field, if you know that something is completely off track with what you want to do, please don't waste your time applying for it because you're so desperately trying to receive an internship. Me personally, I've never applied for anything that was just too crazy out of my field. Like, I'm an engineering student. I shouldn't be applying for anything in finance, business. That's not my field. I will leave that to finance and business majors, because when those questions come around that the employer will ask you, you probably won't have a clue how to answer that question because that is not your field. So stay in your lane, especially when it comes to tailoring your resume for certain job applications. If you're applying for a job that's just too far out of your field and your lane, it's going to be very hard to keep tailoring the resume over and over and over again. And if you notice, if you stay in your field, you don't have to do too much tailoring. Maybe like a word here, a word there. But when you're in that field, all of the resumes kind of just fit in the same bunch because they're all looking for the same thing. You're literally applying for the same job, just at a different company. Number 6, what I know for a fact got me my internship. But before I tell you that, I want you all to know, out of about 100 internships I applied for, I received about 5 offers from that. And out of those 5 offers, obviously I had to select one. But what I believe got me those 5 offers back, and what is something that I would tell you to do, was be confident. Even if you don't know the answer to the question, or if you're struggling on the question, still act like you know. And sometimes even make something up. Sometimes if you have confidence and you make something up, it sounds completely good and it almost sounds like it's true. Be curious. Not only do you need to know a little bit about the company, ask about the company as well, something that you're curious to know about. And also ask about your employer, like, what do you like about the company? How long have you been here at the company? What have made you stay so long at this company? Things like that. And also, another good question you can ask them is, what is their plans? Do they plan to stay at the company? Do they plan to leave? And you may think, oh, that's digging into their business. No, it's not. Employers love that. And that is how you get remembered. Just something that is different. I was like, I was in the military. And he remembered me from that. When he called me back, he was one of the offers I got. When he called me back, he's like, yes, I remembered you because you was in the military and I love when you talked about it. So things like that, especially because some employers also may have a similar experience and you wouldn't know if you weren't asking those questions. And of course, be genuine. And I don't have to go into that. You know, just be genuine. Lastly, if I could offer you all any advice when applying for internships and getting your internships, is number one, apply anyway. Even if you feel like you're underqualified or it's too competitive, whatever the case may be, still apply anyway for those jobs. I even applied, and I know for sure I was underqualified compared to some people I know that applied for the same role. But you may be the person that they're looking for, even if you are less qualified, especially during the interview process and they ask you questions. They may find something very unique about you that they did not find in somebody else. So don't be scared to apply. And if they reject your application, it's okay. Apply for another one or apply again later. Number two, keep tailoring your resume. Nowadays with the AI tracking system, it's already narrowing down some resumes and kicking people off. So it's really very important that when you do apply for jobs, kind of find some that where a human still looks at resumes. And if not, because usually it's going out of style, just tailor your resume just a little bit, you know, but still keeping all of your information in there, what makes you you, and adding a little bit of what the requirements is for the job. Because you don't want them to deny you for a position that you're totally qualified for. And the last tip that I would give you is always practice interview questions. Especially now, a lot of employers are using the STAR method. And if you're not familiar with that, that's situation, task, action, and result. And they want you to answer your questions in that format. So just train yourself whenever you see a question, how can I say the situation? How can I state the task? How can I explain what I did in action? And how can I talk about the results and what I learned from this? Never sell yourself too short, and always believe that something is out here for you. That is literally how I got my first engineering internship with no experience at all, never worked in a workplace like that. And I can honestly say the company was great, the people were great. I did a good one by picking that one because I did my research. And that's why I said researching a company is very, very important, and it will save you a lot of stress, because a lot of times you can get an internship and the student and you are stressed out. The job is stressing you out. So I hope you all learned something today, and I really hope you all get your internships. And when you do get your internships after taking my advice, please let me know in the comments. And also check out my last video here. It should be somewhere on the screen, where I talked about how to make an extra $2,000 a month from having an Airbnb or just a rental property or just something just sitting by that you can make money from. And of course, if you like this video and you want to see more of me and how I can help you in your life, don't forget to hit the like button, and also, of course, subscribe to stay updated with my new videos. I'll see y'all later.